Greetings, and this is not what we're going to talk about today. This is my rickshaw case with Mount Fujiyama and the giant wave. Inside this case, I like to keep a couple of my Japanese pens, and today that pen is going to be my Sailor 1911 Standard. This is the Pirate's Life pen, and I like this pen a lot. In fact, it's becoming my favorite pen very quickly. And we're going to take this Strathmore Bristol Smooth Journal, and I have a picture in here that I drew with this pen, and we're going to tint it today. So we just have to locate that. And these are some other things. That's the one we're going to do there. There's some other stuff. And we're going to do this. This is, again, a picture that I drew with this 1911 standard medium fine gold nib pen. Now, I'm going to speed things up here because you don't need to watch me painting really slow. And we're going to get to that. There's going to be a bit of a cyan shift. You're going to see a cyan shift from time to time. It's a real drag, but apparently the auto color correct was freaking out, thinking there was an incandescent light in here when I would lean forward with too much yellow paint or something. I don't know what in the world was going on with it, but another good reason to speed it up so we don't have to put up with that as much with the color shift. But getting back to the Sailor pen, the Sailor standard is a nice size pen for me. I have smaller hands. I'm a Japanese man, and I have smaller hands, and it's a really good size for me. I like writing with it. I like the feel of the 1911. I think it has a good texture to the materials that it's made out of, and I enjoy using that pen. The gold nib it's a hard nib, but it writes very smoothly. And I also have a 1911 compass in medium fine with a steel nib, as well as a Pro Gear cocktail with the slightly larger nib that is in the 1911L or 1911 large size pens. And the steel nib in the compass I think is great because I can use it with more harsh inks like my Diatramentis document inks, and those tend to be a little sticky and they'll cake inside the pen, and I can get a little more aggressive with cleaning them and actually scrape those off and not have to worry about damaging the nib. Now with the Sailor 1911 standard, gold nib, I don't use those Diatramentis inks with those pens. I use the carbon black inks and carbon blue. Now I know that sounds terrifying too, but those tend to cake, but I can get that caking off without having to really get too aggressive and scrape. Usually warm water and a little agitation with a soft brush will get those nibs clean on both my standard and my Pro Gear pens. And the Pro Gear again has the larger medium fine nib. Now, you might think I'm crazy. I have these three pens in medium fine, but the Sailor nibs are very, very uniform in this size, in the medium fine. When you get to the medium size, they kind of drift a little bit from pen to pen. But throughout the line, between the steel, the small gold, and the large gold, I don't have a King of Pens nib, so I can't tell you what that would be like. But in these others, I don't notice a difference in the line width. What I do notice is a difference in character of how they write. The steel nib can be a little hard. On this Bristol Smooth paper, it's okay. There's plenty of buffer, and in a journal or something, it's fine as well. But for writing, I really like that gold 1911 standard nib. Although the Pro Gear has a nice bounce to it, it's actually a little more bouncy and easier to write with in a way. I like the standard nib. It feels a little harder, and I like the feedback characteristics of it better. Now the differences between the Compass and the 1911S are so minuscule. The weight is different, and then there's some things like the threads, location of the threads, and where the caps go on and things. But really, there's not a whole heck of a lot of difference in the size of the pens at all. Now, between the Pro Gear and the Compass and the 1911, the 1911s are definitely narrower than the Pro Gear, though the Pro Gear is pretty much the same length as the 1911s, which I find is interesting. Without the finials, the Pro Gear would be the same size as the 1911s. Although the Pro Gear is wider, it's got that thicker barrel like the 1911L. The 1911 large pen has that wider barrel, but they're all very uniform and they're all excellent pens, and I love them to death. But the Pirate's Life is quickly becoming my favorite. Now we're almost at the end of this. These are Windsor Newton. This is a Windsor Newton travel case that I'm using, but they're not Windsor Newton paints that I have in it. I used those paints up a long time ago and replaced them with engram paints, which I actually like a lot better. I didn't mind the Windsor Newton Cotman watercolors, but I did find that the Payne's gray was a little chalky in the as well as the burnt sienna. And so we've come to the end, and well, that's it. Thanks for watching.